Got any, got any good quips about drainage
Can't go in there, so.
put in there? Like beyond
Last I heard, I could.
shit always runs downhill. Except in
All right,
drainage.
no, other than getting chewed out by some, mics. Right on
I'm just looking for a one-liner.
that.
You know?
Thank you for your support.
So he's a jock.
How's that?
Please enter your participant or moderator code followed by the pound key.
Support.
Oh, yeah, dog, David. Yeah, all right, yeah.
Please say your name followed by the pound
By the
key.
way, you got a door ding?
Yeah, no, I got a door ding, yeah, it's, it was about a 10-point buck running to the side of the car when my wife was going to work here about a week or so ago. The side airbag, I took the side airbags out yesterday, so otherwise they were down, so you couldn't see. But,
They total it done or not?
I haven't heard yet, they looked at it last Tuesday, and I haven't heard a thing from them, so. The worst part about it is I just put $770 worth of new tires on it. The tires had 744 miles on them, and that's about what it cost when they got hit. But I mean, I found a door for $200, and they told that my wife can use that for driving to work. Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to approve the minutes in the agenda.
I'll second that.
A motion from Spencer and a second from Derby to approve the minutes and agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Discussion with possible action regarding COVID-19 policies.
Do our policies line up with the CDC recommendations of the 7-day quarantine?
Andy, are you on the phone?
Yep, I'm here.
So I was thinking,
Yeah.
our policies went by the old recommendations and they have,
We got it down to 7 days, huh?
Yeah, the CDC released last week that basically it's not just went down to 7 days. They still recommend their gold standard is that 14 days. However, they do, through their research and some of the science, the things that they've seen is that they added a couple different options, especially for employers who, you know, if you have to have somebody gone for 14 days can be pretty significant. So what they did is that they also offered up two other options. And it's what we had done yesterday down here in Garner. But what they can do is that if you can reduce after a legitimate contact, so somebody that's been within 6 feet of somebody that's COVID positive for 15 continuous minutes or more. Again, they still recommend 14 days, but you can go down to 10 days after that contact, assuming that you have no symptoms during that entire 10-day period. And also, the 7 days where it plays in is that you can return or you can be released from isolation after 7 days if after 5 days you take a COVID test and it comes back negative, and obviously you have no symptoms or anything like that. So what the board in Hancock County had considered yesterday, and I would recommend for Winnebago as well, is to amend that policy to include those two other options for department heads to consider based on departmental needs and particular circumstances. If it is in the best interest of the department to continue a 14-day isolation period, then, you know, if the department heads wish to, they could do that. But sometimes, based on staff needs, workload and things like that, the sooner you can get those employees back, the better. These two options do allow us to be able to do that. So I drafted some language gave it to the county attorney down here, obviously I could do the same thing, up there if that's something the board wishes to consider.
Doesn't that kind of put the policy all over the board? I mean,
It is.
we could have one office running under number one, and then we could have another office running under number three. It just depends on how the, department head, their philosophy is towards this, so.
Well,
You're correct.
it would be the same as it is now in a sense with the 14 days with the possibility that if they wanted to, they could do the other two, so.
Right, man.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
they may
that-
not do it, but in my case, I would,
Yeah,
so.
I think it's gonna depend on each department too. Some have a much smaller staff, and if one person goes out, it really affects.
but that can really affect a deputy or a, what do you call the people?
Jailers.
What do you call people under you?
The essential employees.
Clerks.
Employees.
Well, I mean, it could affect, one could be real tough and the employee would have to be out for 14 days. Another department could be lenient, number three, and that employee would only be out 7, and, you know, that eventually could put a burden on the employee, so. You know, this would be a lot different if everybody was under the same, and I'm talking countrywide now, politicians and everything, if they were all under the same that if you didn't work, you didn't get paid, I think we would think differently about this. Just a thought.
So what's your thoughts on what we should do then?
Well, I think.
Well, right now, it's the 14 days no matter what, so we just as well make it to where the option is there for the other two.
Yeah.
And in my case, I'd get it down to 5 days if I could.
Well, we
I don't like
we can get it
sitting
down to-
around,
We can get it down to 7.
Yeah,
You know. I mean-
no, this is the guideline, this is what we have to do, all I'm saying is that I would wanna get back to doing
Yeah.
whatever I was doing as quick as
Absolutely.
possible.
Yeah.
But, well, I'll make a motion to,
Can we just make a motion to have Andy drop some language to give to the county attorney so that,
To follow CDC guidelines.
well, we're already allowing each department to do what they wanna do, I guess we could make it to where we mandated this is the way it is.
You know, not every department head thinks the same.
That is true, we could make it uniform, and we're not uniform now,
No.
so we just left it up to the department heads.
well,
And that's fine with me too. I mean, if that's what we, you know.
I don't think it's really up to the department heads right now. We have a policy that says if you're sick, if you've been exposed, you have to
Yeah.
stay home for the 14 days.
Yeah, that part of it's the same, I guess the other part is, the working from home stuff and all that.
Well, and I don't think we have anybody working from
No,
home
I'm not
anymore
saying that
except
that's happening. It's
public health.
We left it to where the department head sits, and, which, fine.
The ambiguity in that right there, could cause a lot of rift between departments in a courthouse. Not saying that it would.
Well, I guess if you like it better under one office than the other, then maybe you should switch.
A couple weeks ago,
So-
you guys.
Oh.
Bill, you were in the middle of a motion.
Well, no, I'll rescind the motion, and she can do what she wants to. Have Kelsey draw something up.
I'll send the proposed language to the county attorney.
All right, and then we'll look at it.
Then I'll bring it back to you for approval.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So Andy, our numbers are trending down now?
Yes, they are. The daily positivity stays around that 20%. There's just a decrease in number of testing, as well as number of positives. So it's going in the right direction, for sure. We still have about, say, a week or 10 days to see if, some people think that the Thanksgiving holiday will push us into another increase. That remains to be seen. It just depends on which news source you talk to see if that's actually true or not. So, but the numbers are trending in the right direction. We're in a good spot. I think Julie and Allison can tell you that we got some pretty good news this week regarding the vaccines. So that's going to be sooner rather than later, we hope. So there's a lot of things right on the horizon. For the first time in a long time, I feel like we do have some light at the end of the tunnel of this thing.
It's a long tunnel though.
It is, I agree.
All right, thanks.
You're always welcome.
Okay, well, we'll move on to Scott.
Wow, you're getting good at that.
What, you get remembering now? Except for,
No, 9.
no, I didn't. Scott, we're ready for you. All right, thanks. I must have hit my club fingers in there. Must have hit an extra button. I got the wee. Yeah.
Hello, you got.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm not quite as stretched out as you are. According to the doctor's chart, I'm on perfect weight for a man of 6'11". Well, that was a while back. I think I might be down to 6'9" or something. Oh, if I was to be at the right weight for that chart, it says 163. I'd have to cut off a limb. 220 for you, man, your height. Gee whiz. Yeah, I don't think they take into consideration bone structure enough. They do some, but according to that, obese.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know obese people could get in the bottom of a grain bin and clean it out all by themselves on a hot summer day.
Does this have to be stamped when we do
It
it?
was in great shape.
No.
He took his underwater test and that's the reason it brought it back. I was 19 and 20s obese.
Want to do number 4?
So, consider for approval, public purpose resolution for public health.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
A motion from Derby and second from Stensrud to approve the public purpose resolution for public health. What's that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No questions for me on that, guys?
Nope, we understand it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Morning, Scott.
Morning. Don't have too much today, just wanted to mention the guys are working on cleaning the road ditch west of the Leland elevator there where it's been so bad several times and water was running out on the road late last fall.
Are we just gonna hope it doesn't happen again, or?
Well, I think that'd be a little bit naive, but I don't know that we really came up with any good options for preventative.
Is that field runoff?
Certainly,
So we
yeah.
talked about that one before.
Pretty steep right there.
Yeah, you can see like right where it comes out of the field is just
See
the
their
mound.
practices are.
Whole village?
So
You know, by law, can You do any, can the supervisors do anything on that?
Well, I know that we can file a soil loss complaint with the Soil and Water Conservation, but I don't know what kind of process that looks like. When Lynn Kluver was here, I think he said he would entertain it, but didn't sound too optimistic about.
I think the daughter-in-law of the farmer is on that board.
Well, you'd hate to think that politics would play any impact in
What
that.
isn't there, doesn't it come into?
Yeah.
That's why Lynn had reservations of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it is.
politics aren't gonna stop me from filing it, I guess,
Yeah,
if that's
I
what you
think
guys
we
want.
could do that.
But anyway, they're working on it, and it's a lot of dirt in that ditch, so it's taking time. But that'll probably be the last of the projects for this year as things kind of freeze up.
Could we try to work with the farmer on that, to at least dump it in his field,
Well,
so we don't have to truck it?
I think they're getting rid of it pretty close by, so, you know, the ditch is so much lower than the field there. I don't even think they could really swing it up there for where they're working now. They're in front of the acreage downstream and all that. It's pretty steep going up from the ditch. It's kind of a tough deal, but I think they're going just a short haul, so I don't think that's too big a deal, but I think the solution's probably, you know, full waterways through that field, you know, grass waterways.
Nice to have a containment structure right at the top of the hill there.
Maybe, that's,
How many years' worth is that, would you guess? How long did it take to get that?
I think it's already been cleaned since I've been here once, and I think it's probably like a every 5, 6, 7 year type thing, is the way Mark made it sound.
Depends on how the years go.
I'm sure.
We had a couple of years there, we had a lot of gully washers.
Yeah. And, you know,
What
like,
would you
probably,
guess it costs?
what it costs? Well, I mean, based on what they got done yesterday, it might be 3 days of digging and hauling, and, you know, I don't know.
How many
It's
guys,
up to be
10,000?
8,000-10,000, yeah.
I was gonna say, how many guys are involved, at least a couple trucks.
2-3 trucks driving, a guy in an excavator, and
Just a thought, could the county work with the farmer, help out financially to get this done, and so it doesn't happen
Well,
again,
see,
or-
but the FSA office has programs to
Yeah,
Yeah,
fix this.
yeah.
So I don't think it'd be in our best interest to put money towards it.
well, it would if he's not gonna, you know, if that's the incentive to get him to do it, you know. I guess I don't understand why farmers wanna lose that soil in the first place.
right.
He runs a 36-row planter, so
I,
I just like going around anything.
I assume absent a soil loss complaint, we don't have any real straightforward legal recourse to collect from him. But we could certainly pursue that. It's kind of preventative, but
Now, I guess I understand why you don't wanna go down those things, but, at the same time, you hate to see all that topsoil running away.
Here's an illustration of the worst case scenario, but I mean, this is probably a bigger conversation about what to do with soil loss and ditch cleaning problems. As you guys know, we've talked about that several times.
I saw in the claims that we were paying Helgeson to clean some ditch up. I don't
Yeah.
know, somewhere out of
They had some dikes below for that project and lost a little bit of dirt downstream, and it's too deep for us to get it, so we had to pay them to kind of clean up the wash away.
No, anything else for secondary roads?
I didn't have any.
I don't have any.
You got anything else, Scott?
That's it. Oh, maybe I just to reiterate, I did send out traffic count maps and bridge posting maps.
Yeah.
If that helps you. And then I'm still gonna try to work on proposal for maybe 5 years worth of TIF investments in infrastructure, and haven't got there yet. Still kind of scheming on what we would do for projects and getting some estimates put together. That's all.
Okay. Auditor's office will discuss drainage matters.
She's here.
She's here, all right. What is she, 11?
7511.
There is one other participant.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, we're ready for you.
Okay, thank you.
Did I goof that thing?
Nope.
I think it's
Well,
okay.
I think
I heard something ring on it.
that was somebody just, talking,
Oh, was it?
saying that there's another
So
participant.
you can see whether we're muted or not.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
See, about the time you told me I was getting good at remembering that, and then I forgot it.
Morning.
Morning.
I've heard from a couple landowners on DD 18 lot 11, and they would like the hammer method. The first option that was brought to us before, so hammer through the first location. But,
Maybe.
so that adds $100,000 to the project.
They just want to do it and be done with it.
Yeah, those two landowners is all I've heard from. So I don't know if you guys have, but
So good. Two that are fine with it and one that's not.
and Doug Harmon is one that is for the hammering.
Oh, yes.
He called and I talked to him for a little bit and then he called Rick and then he called me back. So,
So we've done all this a long time ago.
Well, we didn't know it until the hammering was going to begin, so.
Or whenever the railroad was.
yeah.
Is it too late to worry to Rick with the railroad to get it done this year? Or
That I don't know. Yeah. And it's on the agenda next week.
is there, well,
Because now we'll have to still, tile up to it and,
Gary,
yeah.
I would say go ahead.
Well, we can't until next week. Because we sent out a letter.
For informational hearing.
Yeah.
Well, we can inform them we're going ahead. I mean, it's not a,
I'd rather wait till next week.
Weather's not gonna change a lot this week.
Yeah.
So,
Because I would sure hate to have people who haven't told me anything to come in or listen to the meeting next week and voice their opinion a different way.
who's the other one, Carl?
No, Mr. and Mrs. Sherb. I don't know if I know who they are, but
well, we can tell the contractor the odds are. Get him prepared anyway.
I would just tell Rick that that's how we're leaning so he can get that new contractor.
Well, if I owned the land, I'd be displeased if it didn't get done this fall. So,
But it's not anyone's fault that it's
No, I
delayed. It's
know-
just
I know
a
that.
matter
I
of
know that.
circumstances.
but we're here to bend over backwards to try to get it done right for the farmers, so.
Well, right,
They're
right.
the one paying the bill.
I think we'll still be done before he spring plans. So,
Yeah, it's a pretty short strip left.
yeah. And then on the north side of the railroad and then under the highway. But
Under the new blacktop.
How far did they come up from the south?
they stopped at that, where they had done before. They haven't gone any
They haven't gone
further
farther, okay.
because of the railroad stuff, because we
Right.
would have had to move it.
Yep.
So,
So they've got a little more digging to do before the hammering can happen.
yeah, but not much. I believe that wouldn't take
They
them a
got-
day.
Yeah, I had half a day maybe.
Yeah.
But there is, because they stopped at the point where they can turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So that's all I have today.
Anybody else for drainage?
I see they have been hauling some pipe into that DD 11
Oh,
project.
good,
Not a
good,
lot, but every once in a while you see a truck come in and
good.
unload it.
Hopefully he'll get there soon and then get that going.
Okay, Okay, there's nothing else for drainage. We'll move on to number 6, consider for approval weed commissioner annual report.
Make a motion to approve the annual report for weed commissioner.
I'll second it.
Motion centered and second from Derby to approve the annual report from the weed commissioner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, open forum.
You just need to sign this.
This is a receipt, right?
Yes. There's another one. There's another one. This needs to be received. Do you need to sign this? That one needs a receive stamp too.
Oh, right there.
Claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the auditor's transfers.
Second that.
Motion Derby, a second from Stenger to approve the auditor transfers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There's nothing to ask to sign on this, is
Just the receive stamp.
there? Is there a receive stamp on it?
No, I didn't get it.
See, I didn't see it.
You can put it on the front, that's fine.
was that there was computer rental for the sheriff's department, is that for all those laptops?
I think so. Who was the vendor? Was it,
I remember looking at it, I assumed it's what it's for.
43,000 for the rental. What departments?
5?
Help desk.
Yeah.
That way we don't own them, we just rent them.
We
and
lease
take
them,
care of 'em.
basically, and yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the semi-monthly county claims.
Second that.
Derby and second Stensrud to approve the semi-monthly county claims, all in favor say aye. Aye. Run it out again.
Alright.
I already told you how vertically challenged I was, and my reach isn't very good. So when you guys are counting votes, do you have somebody from both parties in there while you're counting?
We don't count the votes. The poll workers count the votes, and there's a Republican and a Democrat at all times.
That do the actual counting.
Okay.
But then there's poll watchers if they so choose.
Well, you don't even do the actual counting, do you?
No.
It comes, yeah, it comes, in an envelope and then another envelope,
When I
and
bring
then you
them,
put it through the machine, right?
they've already been counted.
Mhm.
It's
But
all
I mean, the ones here,
Yeah, the poll workers run them through a machine.
all you do is punch in the numbers into the system,
It's all basically electronic.
it's electronic, so the state's already got it when it's been done there.
No, no,
No,
no.
it gets to you, and then
Nothing is on the internet.
It's on a flash.
that's why there was no fraud here,
Right.
or Ohio, or Florida.
it can be done so easy.
And you don't have drapery over your table, so you can't see under the table.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep, we don't
Yeah.
have that either.
That can be-
or the fact that they actually pulled those out from under there after the fact. It's all coincidence. I just couldn't believe that there was any place that had all the, or a machine that has so many, I mean, either way, a machine that has so many avenues to change votes. Why does a machine even have an avenue to change a vote?
Tell me how that escaped the Republicans' oversight.
They couldn't see.
Well,
Talking about the poll watchers?
No, the Dominion machines.
when they were sold those things.
So when you're ready, I'll make a motion for payroll claims.
If this were the other way around, I'd still be mad.
I would too.
What's fair is fair, even if you don't like the results.
I guess what we're losing anyway is that they aren't willing to look into it,
Well,
just to prove their point.
and no matter what happens, you're gonna have 70, 80 million people upset. So the only real solution is, if everything was on the up and up the way they say it was, just have a revote in all those states.
Can't,
It's not what the law says.
you'd have to amend the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought that they would have had some provision in there for,
Well, I don't think the Commonwealth, that they probably.
yeah, there's a fraud back then too. Everybody says that, we gotta change so many things because the times have changed, or the technology around us has changed. But one thing hasn't changed, you're right, human nature is exactly the same as it always has.
You second it?
I'll second it.
Motion for Derby and second for Stemser, approve payroll claims, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, in case is there anything else, we're staying adjourned if not.